Hi, you're in a rock, floating in space. Pretty cool, huh? Doing whatever you do, I guess. Sleeping, cranking, touching grass. No matter what, it all comes from your food. And your food comes from somewhere, right? So let's rewind a bit to 10,000 BC. The first agricultural revolution, also known as the Neolithic Revolution, was pretty basic. This was the first shift from hunting and gathering to farming. So I guess someone decided to take a fruit or a plant and put it into the ground. Because plant, fruit plus water equals easy food. They all practiced subsistence farming where they only farm for them families and themselves. Everybody decided to hop on the idea because they had plenty of time to eat, sleep, and specialized jobs. Fast forward 1,500 years and we got animals. Like what? Well, there's cattle, llamas, sheep, horses, and many more. So what do they do with them? I mean, you can raise them for livestock ranching where you have a large plot of land to raise your livestock. What if your land is too small for your animals? Introducing pastoral nomadism. What's that? Pastoral nomadism, a revolutionary technique where a farmer and his animals can walk around looking for fresh plants to eat. And it can be yours today for the solid price of $0.00.
2,000 years later.
Now what? I think that guy figured out how to keep land from losing all their nutrients. How? I think he used this nifty thing called crop rotation. Huh? It's where you change the plants you grow in the area to let the land return all the nutrients after last season's plants. Oh, okay.
Eventually,
Now people figured out how to grow more than just wheat, rice, and corn. We got Mediterranean farming. It's literally the same as normal farming, but you grow crops like grapes and olives and other plants that are closely associated with Mediterranean culture. Nice. Boom! Wet rice farming. Wet rice farming? Yeah, it's where you grow rice by planting on dry land, then you transfer the seedlings to a flooded field and drain the field before harvesting. What's next? Now people figured out that killing plants by burning or clearing them makes more optimal crops easy to grow, like grains and other things. Then they kind of just leave until the regular plants grow back, then kill them again. Get ready, because in 1700 we got the... What's special about this one? It coincided with the Industrial Revolution, I guess. And people went from doing all the hard labor themselves to using animals to do it for them. And made the new agricultural inventions to support the large population in Britain and Europe as well. Things that were made were the seed drill, mechanical reaper, and the steel plow. You know what else? People stopped growing for themselves and thought, hey, I should make money selling my crops to others. And this brought about commercial agriculture, or growing food to sell and get money to buy more inventions and other things that were made. All this agriculture made von Thunen think, hey, maybe different types of agriculture are farther away and harder to sell from the market. This von Thunen model explained that farm products would be grown in zones outward from the central market city. The cost of transporting different farm products to the central market determined the agricultural use of the land around the city. The most productive activities were located closest to the market and on the more expensive land. Less productive activities were grown farther away on cheaper land. Basically, productive, intensive agriculture was centered on the premium land near the city. This includes processes like dairy farming, which is the practice of raising livestock such as cows for their milk products exclusively. Farther out, you have extensive and less productive forms of agriculture like farming and ranching. These farming products take longer to send to markets and are produced very far away from the markets. All this commercial farming led to a competition in very rich agricultural areas. It's the arrival of truck farming. People decided they would get more profit selling their goods farther away in place with less fertile land. What could possibly top this influx of agricultural milestones? What happened in this one? Well, people shifted from animal power to electrical power. Chemical fertilizers and pesticides were used to replace the natural ones. Well, we need a way to feed all these growing people. We got feedlots and milk sheds now. Milk sheds are regions responsible for producing dairy for a larger area. Think like the breadbasket of the United States and how they provide bread for the rest of the USA. Well, these people use dairy. And feedlots are places where livestock is crammed into tight spaces and fed excessively for months until they reach a large size. This is done so maximum amounts of meat can be produced in a small area. Sure, it raises environmental concerns, but that's really like nothing much compared to what else happens. Moving on though, all this exchange of goods brings about commodity chains. Commodity chains are when large businesses control like the acquirement of raw materials, then all the way through like making goods and selling them to their customers. But sometimes these commodity chains result in dishonest businesses, which is fair trade. Fair trade. It's when companies promise to make fair business off like morals that they have. And that doesn't really work out so well. Anyways, people also need places to stay. So William Alonso proposed the bid rent theory, basically saying the price and demand for real estate changes as the distance from the central business district increases. Remember how it got worse? Well, in the 1950s, this guy called Norman Borlaug was tired of using the same old weak, non-pest resistant crops. So he used science and genetic engineering to make GMOs. Even now, GMOs are highly disputed because some people say that they altered plants and are not fit for human consumption because they contain harmful chemicals. Regardless of this, GMOs brought economy back to many struggling countries like India and Mexico. But what are GMOs? GMOs are genetically modified organisms that have DNA that has been altered by science. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up the history of agriculture. So just remember, whenever you're drinking 9 taking on that G fuel, just remember, your food is a story and it comes from somewhere, and General Genobi out.